a story. Okay, so the session is going to be recorded. Fine. The story of danger of a single story. So, who would like to start the discussion? Anyone?
Yeah, if you allow me, I would like to start the
Okay,
discussion.
go Pawan. It's your turn.
Yeah, so the video was about the danger of a single story. So what basically I perceived that we often see only one face of the story. That is the one face of the of a coin, but it is always coin is always double faced. Just like our friend Amarjeet has said that India, although lost the final, but there is another story as well because we have played so good. So the video started from a girl from Nigeria was telling her story that how she grown up with a mentality that has been actually uh, forced upon to her by the Western thinkers, philosophers, through the books that she had read and studied throughout his in her childhood. So what she was basically trying to say that uh, the importance of early mindset that is being formed in our childhood, and how they are being shaped by different types of propaganda that is being propagated by the one who are in power. So what she has said that she had started reading and writing at the age of 6 or 7 only, and she used to write stories in which all the characters were white in color and having beautiful blue eyes, and they were playing in snows. In spite of the thing that Nigeria didn't experience snowfall at all, but she grew up thinking that a story should be like that because she was forced upon uh, by the literature that she was being exposed to. So that reminded me of the Macaulay's minute, and especially the white man's burden theory, that what they had presented India in which light to the world, and how the mentality of the world to see India is being formed over the years. So one more is important line that she has said, that show people only as one thing over and over again, and that is what they become. Just like what British had proposed certain theories like Aryan invasion theory. A very shining example of this can be a criminal tribe act, in which all the members of those tribe were considered as born criminals, and those who are white in color is considered as a hero. We cannot imagine a black person as a hero. uh, a very good example is we often see our mythological stories in which Krishna, we all know Krishna, and what its literal meaning is. Its literal meaning is as black as rain clouds. But whenever we see certain serials or even movies in which the character of the Krishna is being played by a certain one who is a super white in color, that means we can't imagine our heroes, our gods in black color. Black color has been painted as a something which is always in negative. A very good example is black money. Why black money is bad and why white money is good? Well, so that what I have perceived, that how British or Western propagandas had presented India as a country of a snake charmers, but there's a different story, different alternative, different kind of perspective to it as well. Because India, take example, is progressing ahead of Britain at this moment, because even Britain could not have achieved the soft landing on the moon uh, that India has done, and so there are many things in which India is growing, but again, it will be our own duty to present the world our own realities, because uh, what we often see that we are being presented in certain negative instances only, negative in negative characters only. So it will be our duty to show our upcoming generation the other face as well. So I would like to end my uh, this debate with a share by Nida Fazli, and he said that हर आदमी के अंदर होते हैं कई आदमी, जिसको भी देखना हो कई बार देखना. Thank you.
Okay, so
Komal, you are on
shall
mute.
I?
You are on mute, Komal.
Am I audible right now? Okay, yeah. So Rupesh want to continue further? Yeah, Rupesh, you can continue. Thanks.
So yeah, so the topic is uh, the dangers of a single story, I think. So yeah, basically what I've perceived or what I've understood from the story is that mm, the lecture was quite genuine and kind-hearted as well as pure in the intentions, as it was saying that we are resumed and we are predisposed to think in a way we are acted upon, and it talks about the dangers of a single story, as in, like, so for example, we are on this earth, we have almost like 8 billion people. So if we are having only one story, and it leads to a creation of stereotypes as a result. Okay. And just a second, I think I've lost the track. So
No, you are on a right track. You can continue.
no, yeah, so basically it is telling about the single story and the effects that are related to the single story. So it is not just talking about the coin as well as the two sides. It is talking about the n number of sides from n different perspectives. So it is more about uh, keeping our mind open. For example, if we are in a state where uh, we are a state of WhatsApp universities and messages that are going on, fake information, fake messages. So it is just one side. So we have to keep our mind open so that we can see the other sides of a story. We can see other stories, not just the single story that is being told to us. For example, uh, uh, we are always told in our childhood about the different uh, brave characters, about the different.
Rupesh, sorry to interrupt you, but can you please open your camera? Actually, the purpose is to see our recordings and improve.
Basically, there is no light here, so
Okay, it's okay.
yeah, I'm outside right now. So yeah, so I was saying it is more about having n different perspectives of n different people. So the story was basically the one line message which I have perceived, that uh, we should keep our mind open so that we does not stick to one side of a story. For example, if we say that uh, in the history books right now, they are which are being rewritten, so the right thing as such is claiming that their perspective was not taken into account by the previous historians. So their perspective will also be right to an extent. However, whatever they preach will also not be true to the extent they tell us. That is where we have to keep our mind open so that we always find out the balance and we always keep our rationality way above what is being told to us. That is what I have taken from the this lecture. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Rupesh. Now we will move towards Atul. Would you like to say something on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So in this video, what I have perceived is the lady explores the dangerous consequences of acquaintance with single side of a story. Single side of a story narrows our worldview and creates multiple stereotypes in the society. Like she quotes many examples from her life that she was both the perpetrator and victims of single side of the story. she gave the example of how in her early writing was heavily influenced by British and American writings, and in her early writings, her characters, climate, culture were all influenced by the single side of the story, which she had learned from that American literature. After that, she also quotes the examples of her home servant, Fide. uh, Her mother gave the single side of his story, that that he was very poor, and she made a notion that uh, he was very poor, and her outlook towards him was very pitiful. But when she visited his village, she came to know that his family was very skilled in basket making and many other things. So she became very ashamed that she just due to her mother's single side of the story, she created stereotypes. And similarly, when she visited Mexico, she when she visited Mexico and got to know about their life and culture, she once became very ashamed that she was again and again the perpetrators of the single side of the story. So what she suggested, what the ultimate message of this video is that read all the sides of the story. More and more sides will give a more picture, will give a wider view, and try to engage all the sides by personal experiences, like the one she visited Mexico and Fide's home. So the ultimate message is that only that widen your viewpoints and uh, open your mind. That is so the only thing.
Thank you, Atul. It was nice to hear from you. The main thing, what as you said, don't you think it is also a good thing that administrator should have, right? Having a different perspective, not having only one side. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
She also one thing I missed, that she said in the video that she just not said to focus on the positives or negatives. She highlighted that despite the positive or negative sides, we should open to hear all the sides of the story. So to get a holistic picture.
Thank you,
That's
Atul.
all.
Thank you so much. Now let's go to Amarjit Singh. Amarjit, would you like to say something on it?
Good evening, everyone. The story, what the video told us, have been already discussed. The important is what we learn from that video. We know that literature is a mirror of a society. What literature told us, what literature show us, that is not only in the words, but also it explains how the society works, how the system of society works. Then we can take examples like the Chinamanda told about single story creates stereotypes. We can also take examples from our society, like we studied Indology perspective in sociology. The sociology student must be known to that. The Indology perspective by Sir William Jones, how the history was created and how the 2 days we are following that history. But in reaction to that also, G.S. Ghurye and Srinivas also presented the new perspectives to our Indian societies. And we can also learn how the problems in a society can be solved, not with a single perspective, but we have to take multiple perspectives from that. If you are a police officer and someone complains to you, you have to thoroughly go through the different angles, and then you have to conclude what can be the reasons, what the panel provisions we can charge it in. These all can be we learn from this video. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Amarjeet. Okay, so next, Hemendra. Hemendra, would you like to say something on it? Hemendra. Is Hemendra here? I
No,
think.
no, you are not audible.
Hemendra, mute. You are on mute.
Although you have talked about every aspect about this topic, but in my opinion, the gist of the topic is a stereotype, how it is formed, and the role played by the media and writers in forming the stereotype about any subject. She gave the various example. So our friend Pawan also gave the various example how it is formed in pre-independence time, and it's also happening nowadays also. She beautifully explained the stereotype, that stereotype can be true, but it does not mean that it is completely true. It's absolute truth. There can be a different side to a story. She gave the reason for that, for colonial power. He gave the reason like power structure, and various labeling theory explain it perfectly, that certain people in power or certain people in upper position can label certain ideas or viewpoint as something that is negative, so other people will perceive them as negative. Perfect example of this is caste system, and various marginalized people suffer because of this stereotypes. And conclusion, I can say that we need to have a balanced approach toward any topic. Whenever topics comes to us, in first look we cannot form our opinion from any dimension on that topic. We need to go through the all the aspect from all the viewpoint on that topic. On lighter note, I can end my debate with that in UPSC preparation, teachers always said that you need to follow Hindu and Indian Express for developing a mean that you have to have both positive and negative side, know the positive and negative side of the government. So that's it.
Thank you, Hemendra, for taking the discussion further. Now we will move towards Pradeep. Pradeep, are you please start with your discussion.
So, good evening to all.
Good evening.
As the topic of the video is that the danger of a single story. So, the lady very beautifully narrated the danger of single story. As she talked about her background, that she belonged to Nigeria and what actually happened there, and what is the perception the Western world about the country of her and the African continent as a whole. So the crux of the video that I understood, and the narrator or the storyteller tried to make us understand, is that we need to be aware about the danger of single story, because single story always create a kind of stereotype. As she explained that the stereotype may not be the wrong, but it does not tell the complete story. It does not reveal the complete truth. And as she explained that when she was child, she was reading the books of English writers. So she imagined that the character of the books can only be foreigners. But when later on she read the African literature, and she realized that there can also be the other aspect, the other reality can also exist. So she that actually opened up her imagination. So I can relate this thing with what happens in India as well. In India also, so many stereotypes, so many misconceived notions prevail about so many things. Uh, for example, when we start with our history, as Pawan has also explained, that during the time of our, when we were colony of Britishers, Britishers told us a single story, that we are, we are not capable enough. We are just meant to be ruled by someone else. We are not capable to be self-rule. But when leaders came like Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, they told us that this is just a single story. That is not the entire truth. We need to understand. We need to come out of this, this incomplete story to become completely independent, to become self-reliant, and to rule ourselves, to get Swaraj. And later on in independent India also, and for example, so many people are there from UP, Bihar, but someone from another state hears about the name of the state of UP, Bihar. What first comes in their mind is, oh, there might have been so many backwardness, poverty, there is lack of education, but this may not be entirely true. So this is the impact, or this is the danger of single story. And I can also talk about the stereotype about the Northeast people have in India. When we think of Northeast, we often relate them with Chinese. Means because of their geography, they may be appearing looking like the Chinese people, but we need to understand their problem or their living culture entirely, then only we can understand them. Similarly, the narrator also talk about the relation of power with the storytelling. Means if someone has power, then they have the power, they have the right that they can choose how they can tell a particular story, and how they can tell, and what kind of impact that can have on another country. For example, we in India uh, are being told so many single stories from the Western countries. In the recent case, we can uh, take the example of the global hunger. And despite being self-sufficient in food grain production, there might be some problem that we are struggling in still eradicating the hunger problem, but that is not the complete picture. Similarly, often every year we hear about the religious freedom in India. Western countries so much, so they create so much havoc, and that India is becoming intolerant. But when we see the complete picture, that is not the case. Similarly, another instance is when we hear the term terrorist. The first image that might come in our mind is that person must have been Muslim. We associate terrorism with particular religion, but that is not the case. You all will agree, because in the recent instance, for example, in Kerala or in Sri Lanka, the people who were behind such cowardice terrorist attacks were not from Muslim or the Islam religion. They were like Christian, or they belong to some other religion. So that is the danger of a single story. And when single story will be told repeatedly, it will become the complete story for the people about whom that particular story is being told. So the message or the crux that I understood from the video is that we need to see the complete picture to understand anything about any country, about any person, about any event. And as the storyteller, the narrator said, that when we reject the single story, when we realize that there is never a single story, there can be multiple stories about any place, then we gain a kind of paradise. So that is my understanding. So we need to be careful, conscious, need to see the picture completely, and never run away by a single story because
So
that is dangerous. Thank you.
thanks, Pradeep, for your beautiful insight. Okay, so now it's my turn to say fine. Okay, so first I would like to appreciate the narrator. The way she was speaking, I like the her pronunciation. I liked very much. Where to take a pause and all. After that, as you all have discussed the danger of a single story, what I liked in her discussion, apart from the crux of that story that you all have given already, that she was not biased in that thing. Like she accepted very conveniently. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, yeah. Conveniently that yes, at a time I faced, some stereotypes from her roommate, but I also made a stereotype for other person. So we both have same. We are not different. After that, as you all have said, what is the negative of a single story or danger? I will say mainly it creates a stereotype, it creates a perception, biasness, and this provides a ground from where all our problems emerge. Maybe regionalism, communalism, or maybe the fake news or whatever. The problem that our society is right now facing, it must be have a base of this perception biasness. Like for example, in our media, everybody, we all have seen that mostly there are two groups. One is supporting one idea, one other is supporting one idea. However, if a person is aware of both the things, it's good. They have a clarity of thought. But what if a person is only seeing one perception or one channel? So they are getting only one point of view, and according to that, they are making their mindset, and it affects their decisions also. Na? It's not only like, okay, it is the things are inside of there. No, it affects their life. It affects their decisions, maybe voting decisions also. So the negative sides of this single story may be very catastrophic, maybe very uh, dangerous to our democracy also, maybe in personal life also. Because when we deal with people like friends, so in our personal life also, we just know single story and we say, okay, you are right and wrong, and that somewhere disturbs our relationship. So that it's good that we should have a holistic approach, and we should not be biased and have an open mind to listen other person. And I do you have guys any other question on this topic, or you want to debate or argument, give an argument to others' view? Anyone? Although I don't think there should be much debate about it because the topic was very clear. Um, okay, my question is one. I want to ask you guys. Okay, so most of this we were discussing. So I found one thing that all of us were agree that mostly the Western media, Western society have a perception or single story of the other, maybe global South we can say, a negative perception. So my question is, do we have a single story of theirs also? Let's think from our side. That is the question. Like they have a single story of us. Do we have? Yes, Atul wanna say I think something.
Yes, we have single stories about them. For example, for instance, take the example of America. What we think of America? America, when we talk about America, we think of that America is a superpower, and they are so rich, and they are undefeatable. But that is a single story, and that has a power relation. But that is not the complete story. When we see racism in America, when we see discrimination with African blacks, that is the story that America tries to hide from the world, so that they can present themselves as a unified or as a superpower. But we need to see that there are troubles in America also, and they, as a society, are not perfect. There are troubles in the American society. For example, we can take the example of the society of America. The American society is heading towards, kind of catastrophe. They are the, worst. They are in the worst position when it comes to personal relationship or the mental problems. They are the persons who are, you know, facing so many mental problems. So that is the kind of story that we need to understand.
I agree with you. The poverty, the inflation, and especially the drugs issue. The youth, how they are getting devastated by drugs and all. So these are also the other side of these Western countries. So if a person is being very pleased with the positive side of country, they should be aware. I I just wanna say they have a right to know these things also. So on the basis of that, they can take a decision. And like I would like, okay, do you have any personal experience of this single story? Like I would share mine of one of mine. Like when I was in Germany, it maybe I also had a stereotype. Like in India nowadays, many women are are drivers of auto buses. But I went there in 2019, and I'm sorry, but I haven't seen as many women driving buses or autos, etc. in India. So when I was there, I saw that the buses or the public transport buses, they are being driven by the women, and I was very strange with this thing, and maybe because I also had a stereotype like women, I have never seen it. So would you like to share any one of you any such kind of your personal experience? Okay. Fine. So we are done with this today's session. Thank you so much. I'll just close the session. And thank you so much. We will meet next time. Bye.